Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Breeze. Breezeway Productions The Breeze, where we bring you the latest in independent films and film festival news, and we're happy to continue our coverage of this year's Slamdance Film Festival, the 2024 edition, with the film Look at Me. And we have director Taylor Olson here with us to talk about it. How you doing, Taylor?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Right on. Thank you so much for coming on the show and taking the time to speak about the film. So, first question right out the gate is tell me a little bit about Look at Me.
As a look at me's fictional autobiography. So when you see the title card underneath, it says a fictional autobiography, and essentially, what that means is it's based on like true events from my life. But sometimes I fictionalize them, and it's all emotional truth. So it's about a young actor who's a lonely, awkward, who's finding self love in the midst of an eating disorder relapse. So it's about finding self acceptance and working through what it is to have an eating disorder.
Yeah, I saw that when the film kicks off, there is a disclaimer saying that if anybody feels uncomfortable while watching the film, pause, walk out, take care of yourself, and things like that. Would you say that your film gets very graphic and a little bit intense for some viewers, that they wouldn't be able to take it and have to step aside for a minute?
I mean, I think that's possible. I don't think we push the envelope in terms of it being graphic. I think, though, you'd have a visceral response to the emotions that the character's working through, or moments where the character's about to get sick. We don't really show it on screen specifically, but we did try to create a sort of a visceral effect to what it feels like to have an eating disorder, to be in the midst of feeling like you're everything's falling apart around you.
Yeah. So you are an official selection of the Slamdance Film Festival this year. What does that mean to you once you got that notice that you're going to be screening in Utah?
It's pretty exciting. I mean, it's a bucket list festival for me. A lot of my favorite filmmakers, whether they're Canadian or not, have had their films there. So in terms of Canadian filmmakers that have had their films there, like Matt Johnson had The Dirties there with his first feature, and so it's kind of cool to follow in the footsteps of some of those filmmakers. And with Slamdance being this festival that really is about boundary pushing filmmaking, with people trying to like change the form or try different things out, or telling stories from a different perspective. That's exactly what we were trying to do with this film. So it feels like a good fit, so it's exciting.
Right on, right on. Yeah, it's a great festival. You're gonna have an awesome time there. You're gonna meet a lot of other filmmakers that are showcasing their stories and then telling this, showing audiences what really is important to them. So, which brings me to my next question: what does this body image idea and the film in itself have an importance to you? So, like, how is it so close to you in your heart? And did you feel that this was a healing experience while you made this movie?
It's a great question. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty near and dear because it's as I said, fictionally autobiographical, so it's based on real events, or at least entirely based on emotional truths. And so, when I was like a kid growing up and I started dealing with any disorder when I was like 13, this film was almost like made for that kid. Like maybe the little bit older, maybe the 14 or 15-year-old version. And just the hope is that it would allow other people to feel seen. Especially from the perspective that the film's talking about, someone who's raised as a man in this world. Eating disorders aren't really talked about. There's a stigma around it. I think
Yeah.
there's a feeling of oppression around talking about the idea. And so, in terms of like wanting to get that out there, really, and have the film be seen, it's this idea of an unwitting journey towards self love, and the character realizing that self acceptance is okay, and that it's actually not a negative thing, and that they actually open up and talk to somebody about it for the first time. And really, it's about those first steps is what the film's about someone being able to talk about it and just sort of not be so afraid of that as the words come out, you're not going to disintegrate, sort of thing.
Yeah, you talk about a very interesting point in people's lives when they're in that awkward, like, development phase. Maybe they're not comfortable with their body. They get bullied. There's a lot of trauma emotionally while you're still developing. And then as you get older, would you say that people don't always recover from that and then grow up and mature and brush it off their shoulders? Like sometimes it really affects them so deeply that it will stick with them throughout their life. And then it takes some sort of incident or experience to get rid of that, some self-healing. Would you say that has something to do with Look at Me?
Absolutely, I think so. You're meeting the character at a point where they're no longer a teenager, they're no longer a kid, but the all the hangups are still there. And I think, as you're saying, if you don't face these things head on, if you can't really sweep these problems under the rug, I don't think, and then move on and everything's okay. You might try to pretend that that's true. But I think at the end of the day, if you've not dealt with these issues head on or faced them, or at least, the first step being like, okay, well, this is a problem. If you live in
Yeah.
complete denial the whole time, I think those things eat away at your spirit and your health. And so this is what you're seeing with this character, someone who is actually relapsing. They've sort of swept under the rug, and like, okay, that's over with, and then it comes back to haunt them that no, I actually haven't dealt with this in the right way, which is starting internally, right? Like sort of looking at yourself, and it takes a bit of work. It's kind of a scary thing to go, okay, I'm going to look inside myself, and yeah, so that's what the character's working through.
Sure. Addressing the issues that is like the elephant in the room that's in your internal psyche. Like everybody has these issues, but they don't want to like call it out, face it, fix it, or better themselves. So I guess it could be a battle, which it sounds like the film is super adventurous and internal looking. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing more about it or to seeing it in Slamdance, which brings me to my next and final question. When and where will your film be playing at Slamdance this year?
So the premiere is at on the 21st, January 21st at 9 p.m. at the Yarrow, and the second screening is on January 23rd at 5:15 p.m. at the University of Utah, in the
Oh,
Unstoppable section there. Yeah, so
right. Well, that's awesome to play at a college because in a time now, like I went to college, I don't know, like 15 years ago almost, and showing my age, but the college kids are going through that type of phase where they feel extreme insecurity because they're looking for social acceptance. They may not be comfortable with who they are. They're trying to find themselves. So, like, would you say that like screening at a college is the perfect place and the perfect audience to see this kind of movie?
I think so, and I think because the film does sort of take some big swings filmmaking wise, I feel like younger audiences would probably connect to that. Like we even incorporate a couple like very popular like TikTok techniques in a couple of the in the scenes with one of the characters. This version of the character who's haunting himself. So I think maybe that younger audience would actually connect to a couple of those things.
Right on. It's like they say in South Park, how do I reach these kids? Well, you put in some TikTok moves in
Yeah.
there, and then the kids will see it and be like, "Oh, I do stuff like that," and then they can connect with it because it's relatable to them. I mean, if hopefully the film reaches the kids and that you have a jam-packed screening at all the times that you're screening. So I want to thank you for taking the time to talk with me about it. And when you are in Park City or able to check out the Slamdance Film Festival, check out Look at Me. And thank you, Taylor Olson, for talking with me about Look at Me.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.